Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Ham Nation, episode number 50, May 29th, 2012. Gordo and Julian from Hawaii. Good evening, everybody. From good old Pleasant Hope, Missouri in the Ozarks, it's Ham Nation. We're here in our second location and having just a big time. I'm K9EID and rather little special show tonight if we can make all of it work, but it is ham radio. Gordo is down in Hawaii where Julian and Hannah are going to be married in a couple of days. So we're gonna try to get to them in just a little bit, but got a lot going on here. First of all, George, you doing okay? You kind of recovered from Dayton? Everything all right there?
Yeah, somewhat recovered, Bob, and hi, everyone. I've got to get in the truck and head to New Orleans when we're finished tonight to do another show. So it's been busy here and quite hot, too.
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, you're taking my place. That's usually happening to me. I leave one show and go to another, but this time I get to stay here and you go. Oh, my goodness. But now, wait a minute. You're going to New Orleans. Are you going to see this guy, Don? Let's see. Don, where are you? Are you with us tonight? Howdy.
I am. I'm actually on the way to New Orleans from where he is. He's about 2.5 hours north of me, and once he gets by me, he's about an hour to New Orleans. So I'm just about 2/3 of the way from him to New Orleans. So hello, everyone. Greetings from South Mississippi.
All right. Glad everybody made it back. And we're going to get into some things. I got a fun thing we're going to do here in just a little bit, halfway through or so. I want to ask you guys what you bought at Dayton. And I did bring a couple of things home, and we're going to show everybody. In fact, we're going to I think we're going to talk to England on one of them. So I'll keep you posted on this, and we're going to have some fun there. And I know you guys brought something back. You have to go to Dayton and bring something back if it's only a badge that says I'm a Ham Nation fan. Oh, goodness. And Cheryl will be with us after a while. She's watching the chat room, so greetings to everybody in the chat room. We get a lot of requests from people. How do you find the chat room? For the podcast folks that come in and look at the later times and so on, it only happens when we're live, but it's really, really simple. There it is going right now. And there we're seeing Franklin and Ray's on there. And, oh, there's K5LN, Bill, one of the net controllers, on and on. And how do you get to that is very simple. You just dial up IRC.TWiT.TV, and it'll take you there. And then you can sign in, put your call in there if you want to, or you can be kind of anonymous and join the fun, because it is fun. And Cheryl will be watching, and she'll come back in a while and help us figure out what we can answer if possible. What do you think, George? You think we can handle some of these answers tonight? We can handle that, can't we?
Well, I think we can. Now, we don't have Gordo with us, so it could be tough, but I think we can pull it off.
Yeah, but we got Don. Don can talk faster than Gordo. Right, Don?
Yeah, I get criticized for that quite a bit. I've always been a fast talker, and that's helped out in radio sometimes. But, yeah, I can talk fast.
You're a broadcaster. You're supposed to be able to do that. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
It's learning how to modulate it, I guess. Learning when to turn it off and turn it on and turn it down and turn it up. And I'm still learning it after 35 years in this business, but we'll get there.
We'll make it. Hey, let's go see if we can catch up with Gordo. This could be an interesting thing because the signal's not too good on the internet to Hawaii right now. They're using their iPhone, I think. So let's see if we can dial it in. Alex, crank up the knobs, and let's see if we can bring Julian and Gordo in. That'd be kind of fun if we can. They were in there just shortly before the show. And we'll see if...
Hello! N3JF from Maui, Hawaii, along with...
And Gordo, WB6NOA, and we are on the air towards all of you in about 45 minutes from now, 14263. Here's our setup. We've got the ICOM 706 on a volcanic rock. We got the power supply, 7 amp hours. We've got the Outbacker antenna, and here's our secret. We have the world's best ground seawater. Plenty of seawater. So we hope to work all of you tonight, 14263. Day after tomorrow, Anna and Julian get married. So wish them all 73. So here in about an hour from now, 14263. Gordo and Julian on the rocks in Maui, Hawaii.
14263, okay? 14263, Maui, Hawaii. Aloha!
Hey, well, we'll all go dialing up that wonderful frequency of 14263. Gordo has always had this little secret. I've been on the beach many times with him, and you go out and he puts up this little antenna, and you go, "What are you going to do, Gordo?" He says, "Well, we're going to work South Africa." "Oh, really? With this antenna 10 foot in the air?" You know, all of us Midwesterners going, "This is kind of crazy." Until he takes that wire and goes out and drops it in the sea. Oh boy, you start hearing like crazy. So I know firsthand it works. So, have you ever done that, George? Have you been out where you could drop a ground rod or a ground coax, the ground part of your coax, a shield, into the ocean? Have you ever done that?
I never have, but the group of stations I used to work for had one 50-kilowatt AM that was right on the coast, and that was their ground system, just a big ball of copper wire thrown over there into the Gulf.
Oh, yeah, it works. Let me tell you, it works. Just getting these signals all around. So that's great. Well, we've got a lot of things that we want to cover tonight. First of all, Julian did a wonderful video of Dayton, and we were very lucky to be able to bring you a lot of Dayton thanks to the Viasat people and their Exceed system. That's what I'm using here tonight, because when I moved here in January, we could not get a signal. There was no internet here. Didn't have any cell phone either. And I found out about this system, and we were one of the first that they were able to install. I was so lucky. The timing was right, and it's a little dish. Looks like the DirecTV dish outside the window here of my station. And holy smokes, here we are with really hot video. We're so happy. It's 2 megs up and 15 down, and it's inexpensive. I love it, and it's all by satellite. But as you note, no delay. That's been the key, is no delay. So we thank the Viasat people for bringing all of the live stuff to Dayton. But Julian did a video, and we're going to go visit Dayton. So for all of you that have not ever been to Dayton, you've got a plan to do that next year. You just absolutely have to. It's an amazing mecca of amateur radio. So here we go. Julian, let's see what Dayton 2012 looked like.
Warning, the following video has been modified for content and length and has been formatted to fit your screen. It contains scenes that some viewers may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is going to be good.
Before the start of the show, Bob showed me the satellite antenna system that gave us our ultra-fast internet access.
We have really been blessed by the Viasat people to bring in this high-speed internet so we could, on Saturday, broadcast all the members that are here of Ham Nation up to the satellite to Leo Laporte's TWiT Tech Guy radio show.
That was the last time I got to speak to Bob alone, because as soon as he went inside, he was besieged with Ham Nation fans who wanted to talk to the master of microphones. Gordo went straight to work as Mr. Elmer, entertaining, educating, and quizzing the crowd before finally lighting up the blazing pickle.
Potentiometer, right? The pot. Everybody's saying goodbye to the pot because you know what they're doing? They're getting rid of these. They're trying. The hams, we won't let them. Da, 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 dit, dit, dit. And now a big long da at the end. Excellent. Give him a big hand.
I asked Smoke and Soda's George Thomas and Amateur Radio Newsline's Don Wilbanks what they thought about hosting Ham Nation without Bob and Gordo.
Well, we had fun. We got the old guys out of here and just took over.
That's right. And
they had the two ladies with us.
And, well, you and I make such a lovely couple anyway.
Well, yeah, naturally.
I know.
I asked Don if he'd bought anything here at Dayton.
I went and made my donation to the ICOM people and HRO. I bought a IC80 AD today. So I'm joining the D-Star ranks. Again, actually, the second D-Star radio I've had. The first one I actually gave to a friend of mine. So I gave him a 92 AD. And so I'm going to get into that a little bit. And so far, that's all I've had a chance to buy. But I'm sure there'll be more because it's Dayton.
Oh, yeah, Dayton. And I've got to hit the flea markets here and as soon as I can get set up.
Yeah, that's a must. That's a must-see when you come to Dayton is the flea market.
I later caught up again with George and his Amateur Logic TV co-host Tommy at the ICOM booth where George was giving a presentation all about Ham Nation.
And those have been a lot of fun. And I've got a little sample of some of the things that we do on Smoking Solder here on video, if we can play that, right?
The Hamvention allowed me to meet up again with other friends of the show.
Hey everybody, this is John Amodeo, NN6JA. I'm the producer of Last Man Standing, and we're here at Hamvention, where I just gave a presentation about Last Man Standing and our use of amateur radio, and in particular ICOM. I think I'm standing next to an ICOM 9100, which is the same radio that we have on the set of Last Man Standing that Tim Allen's character Mike Baxter uses. And we, on the crew, because we have 12 hams on the crew now, we use the IC9100 and our 92 AD to make contacts around the country and around the world from the stage of Last Man Standing. And then we're going to walk around and just meet all of our ham radio industry friends and say hi and hopefully get a few free pens in the process. And in fact, where we really have to go next is go over to see Bob Heil, and we got to see Gordon, because I got my friend Terry here with me, K2 TCR, TRC, K2 TRC, and she's taking her general today. And she's been listening to Gordon's tapes for a couple of weeks now, so she's going to have to meet Gordon and see what he really looks like. Anyway, going to go enjoy the show now. Thanks for watching our show, which, by the way, Last Man Standing now on Friday nights at 8:30 on ABC. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Is this HD, I hope? I want to see all the imperfections right on the screen.
I can guarantee that.
Thank you so much.
Some of the best deals on new radios were at AES and Ham Radio Outlet.
Well, so far we're selling a lot of VHF, UHF mobile radios and some HF equipment as well. My best HF sale would have been an ICOM 7600 right now. It's busy, as you can see. The place is packed, and I'm sure we're going to have lots of sales over the next 2 days.
It's been very busy this morning, but what a lovely day it is outside. So most people are out at the swap meet and sort of making their way in here slowly.
If the major stores didn't have what you wanted, there were hundreds of other vendors who did.
This is a $49 kit. This one uses the same cable.
Well, I don't have enough. The other thing is MFJ does have these 6-foot pieces of aluminum that'll fit together. But
Rich Moseson of CQ Magazine is a regular at the Dayton Hamvention.
It's late Friday morning, and we've already been very, very busy. So we're looking forward to a really good weekend. And this is always a highlight of my ham radio year. This is we were trying to figure this out the other day. This is my 22nd consecutive Dayton, and several more before that with some gaps in between. So I've been here at least 25 times in the last 30 years.
Carol Perry was recognized by ICOM for her work introducing amateur radio to youngsters.
Carol Perry, an ICOM rain jacket. So when you come visit us in Seattle, the hood and everything.
Oh, wow, that's great. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that.
And then there was the equipment. Gordo kept his tux on when he spoke with the guys from Radio Waves.
Radio Waves. I love their off-center fed dipoles because they work on multiple ham radio bands. And we've got some samples. Say hi to everybody and give them your name and call.
Name here is Emmett Hohensee, or HJ. It's KD0 DTS.
And
my name's Kevin Borders. My call sign is KD0 RDU.
See, it's great to have those that are ham operators know their antennas well. Now, it looks like a little different packaging. What have we got here?
Basically, we changed some things around. We actually put the dimensions of the off-center fed. So you have the overall 137 feet, 44 feet for the short legs, and 93 feet for the long. So, if you're, trying to figure out, okay, well, my lot is X, I need Y, this is going to be better for you. So it's also going to give you a little bit of a better understanding. It's 80, 40, 20, and 10 without a tuner. So.
Wow, that's pretty neat without a tuner. Let's take this guy right out of that package. And you hold on to one. I'll hold on to the other. I told you they were off-center fed. And take us 4-to-1 balun. The wire is special UV. What's the wire made out of? I mean, beside copper.
Basically, it's a UV. It's got a UV coating baked into it, and it's PVC mostly and rubberized plastic. So it's extremely durable in those hot or cold climates.
All right. Now, when we put this up, we can put it up either flat top or we can put it up as an inverted V. I suppose you have instructions that come along with it as well?
Yes, we do.
Look at that. No, here they are. We got them right here. Multiple pages of instructions on how to put up your off-center fed Wyndham. And again, it's what Gordo uses for field day and many of our remote operations. So next time you're thinking of antennas, there's great ones out there, including the terrific antennas from Radio Waves.
Whether you were interested in CW keys, amplifiers, APRS beacons, rig remote control software, radios you build yourself, or antennas, it was all here. And so was Kenwood with their new TS990. ICOM was here showcasing a new radio station in a box, especially for the Boy Scouts of America. Yaesu premiered their FTDX 3000. And Elecraft showed off their KX3 line. At the close of the show, Gordo finally got a chance to look around.
Stepper IR. When they came to the convention maybe 15 years ago, we said, wow, will it really work? Wow, it really does work. Stepper IR, another one making their first debut probably 15 years ago here at Dayton Hamvention, and now just celebrating
great success with all of their active antennas. Active meaning things move on the inside to create resonance. Stepper IR, making antennas happen. Grounding is the key to great performance on any type of vertical antenna that is fed at the bottom. And let me tell you, here at DX Engineering, they really know how to make grounding easy by coming up with a ground plane tab for running all those radials.
And with that, ended our trip to Dayton. Of course, there was a Ham Nation forum.
Let's hear your call signs loud and clear, and we'll see who we can make out. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Zulu! N3JF!
Delta Whiskey.
But that is a whole other video.
Oh, what a wonderful job Julian did on that. And he's got more. We're probably going to have some from the forum next week. That forum was amazing. What do you think, George? Does it get any better than that Ham Nation forum at Dayton this year?
Oh, that was great, Bob. And it was standing room only in there, as you could see from the picture. We had a great time, met a lot of the fans of the show, and learned a good bit in the process.
Yeah, that's always the best part. Don, you were terrific being the microphone carrier and interviewer. That was great, and I appreciate you helping us. I'm sure that you've been to some forums, but you ever see anything that was that packed?
No, the Newsline forum is always packed every year that I've gone, but this thing was off the chain. I was amazed that, I think they were overflowing out the door. It was crazy. It was great fun and just a great testament to the success of this TV show and you and Gordon and George and everyone here. So, yeah, no, it was great. Loved it.
Well, it's not just a couple. It's amateur radio. We're having fun doing all this and bringing so much information, and that's what Ham Nation's all about. It was Leo's dream when he came up with the idea 50 segments ago. This is number 50, by the way. Show
milestone.
Number 50.
The milestone.
And we're really excited that we can bring this to everybody. And thanks again to Leo for giving us the bandwidth and helping us get it all produced with the staff that we have there. Don, why don't you let us know a little bit about the news that happened this week? Some of us have been out of touch with some of the holidays, but let's see what was happening in the news of amateur radio.
I can do that for you. From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 1815, here are your Ham Nation headlines for Tuesday, May 29th, 2012. Of course, the big news, as we've been talking about tonight on Ham Nation, is, of course, the Dayton Hamvention. And, of course, at Newsline, we'll have a full report on the audio edition of the Amateur Radio Newsline. The weather was absolutely perfect. Estimates are that admission topped 25,000 this year, so one of the best and biggest Daytons in probably at least 5 years. In other news, could the seemingly endless saga of Light Squared be coming to an end? Maybe. Word is now that Light Squared Incorporated has filed for federal bankruptcy protection, and they say that they will continue to try and resolve the concerns of U.S. regulators who frustrated the company's plan to deliver high-speed wireless to as many as 260 million people. Light Squared, based in Reston, Virginia, listed assets of $4.48 billion, a debt of $2.29 billion as of February 29th, in a Chapter 11 filing May 14th in U.S. bankruptcy court in Manhattan, New York. The filing followed intense negotiations with creditors who had requested that the company's backer, Philip Falcone, step aside. Falcone and the current management team will remain with the company, according to company spokesperson Terry Neal. Light Squared's plans for a high-speed broadband network hit a roadblock in February when the FCC said that it would withdraw preliminary approval for the company's network after government tests found that the signals would interfere with global positioning systems. That decision followed a year-long fight between Light Squared versus GPS users and providers. DXing from the Black Hole is the title of a multi-session course to be presented this fall in conjunction with the 60th W9 DXCC DX Convention to be held in Schaumburg, Illinois. The W9 DXCC Convention Committee has announced that it will offer a 4-session class Friday, September 14th to introduce ham operators to the excitement and fun of DXing. The class has been designed for new and inexperienced DXers. Each session will cover a different aspect of DXing, including operating practices, station design, chasing awards, QSLing, propagation from the area known as the Black Hole. All the presenters are accomplished DXers from the Northern Illinois DX Association. Between them, they represent some 100 years plus of experience, and that includes the expedition operations to rare locations around the world and numerous awards. You can contact W9MU by email to jhudson@wishcom.net to find out further details and information. D-Star will be active at the 2012 London Olympics. The London GB7OK D-Star repeater server has been updated with Jonathan Naylor G4KLX's software. You can now access all D-Star reflectors. Also, 4 new D-Star nodes in the London area have come online just in time for the 2012 Olympics. Here are the 4 nodes. They are MB6IHF in West London, MB6INL in North London, MB6IOK in Southeast London, and MB6SS in Southwest London. All 4 nodes will give D-Star access to all D+, XRF, and DCS reflectors. And finally, some sad news. Steve Mendelson, W2ML, lost his battle with pancreatic cancer the morning of May 23rd. For each of the 36 years now that the New York City Marathon has been run, Steve Mendelson, W2ML, could be found in the lead vehicle with the race director traveling along with the lead male runner, relaying messages via ham radio. W2ML was also the game day frequency coordinator for the New York Jets NFL team and worked for ABC and CBS as an audio-visual engineer. And while at CBS, he covered trips by Presidents Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and Pope John Paul II. At ABC, he helped design the digital control room and mobile production trucks that the network used for Monday Night Football. Our producer for Newsline, Bill Pasternak, WA6ITF, shares some memories of his friend of nearly a half century in the full edition of this week's Amateur Radio Newsline report. And I sincerely encourage you to take a listen. Steve Mendelson, W2ML, is survived by his wife Heidi, W2MLW, and as we go to air, memorial services have not yet been announced. Steve was a young man, only 67, when he died at his home in Dumont, New Jersey, and all of us here at Amateur Radio Newsline and Ham Nation send our condolences to the family and friends of W2ML. Well, that'll do it from Amateur Radio Newsline. We are your independent source for amateur radio news, brought to you each and every week for nearly 35 years at www.arnewsline.org. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.
Great, Don. We love your reports, and I appreciate you putting it all together. And, of course, thanks to Bill Pasternak and all the staff at Newsline to do that, because it's a lot of work you guys do, and it's all volunteer. So I'm sure that a few of you have not heard of Newsline. Go look it up on the Internet and check out what Bill's been doing for decades, and you'll hear it on a lot of your local repeaters also. But Don brings us a little segment all of our own here for Ham Nation, and we love it. George, I wanted to ask you, what'd you do at Dayton? What'd you buy at Dayton? I know you bought something. I want to know what you and Don brought back home from Dayton that we can talk about.
Well, I'm a little disappointed with my purchasing at Dayton. I had planned to get some things in particular. I was looking for a Megger. Now, a lot of people won't know what that is, but a few do. I've been looking at those for the last several Hams Fest and have not come up with one yet, but I just missed one in Dayton. I walked by the guy I thought would have one and asked him, and he said, I just sold the only one I had. So I'll have to try that one again. But, you know, we were so busy shooting video and hanging out in the Ham Nation booth and greeting fellow hams that I really didn't have much time to spend in the flea market as I would like to have, or in the new exhibits area. Tommy and I, neither one really got around much. But we did get to the flea market for a few minutes one day, and I picked up some connectors. You always need more connectors, and they had some pretty good-looking ones there, really cheap. Now, it looks gold, but at the price I paid, I don't see how it is. It might be, though. And another component I picked up was some of these little double-pole, double-throw toggle switches. I think these were $1 a piece, and that's a good deal on them, so I grabbed a handful of those because you never know when you're going to need one. But the most expensive thing that I bought at Dayton was this right here, because it was very hot outside there in the flea market, and I think I paid $6 for this, and that was the extent of my shopping spree.
I have not seen that yet. You better not show that to Gordo or you might lose it.
Yeah, I hit it every time he came around.
Gotcha. Hey, Don, what did you end up bringing back home?
Wow, the Mississippi version of Crocodile Dundee. Look at that. Well, I've got a hat, too, not quite as spiffy, and this one was free. There's a new website coming online called Hamtown, and they were right down the way from Gordon's booth there at W5YI, and I went by there and picked that up. So Hamtown looks like it's going to be a pretty neat little website. I think it's kind of like a marketplace. I picked up 2 of the Gordon West books for Technician, one for my friend Jerry Workman, who is going to be a ham, and the other for my son Tyler. And in fact, Jerry came over to the house the other day to sit around and smoke cigars and talk about music, and my son Tyler pretty much threw the gauntlet down and said, "I'm going to beat you, Mr. Jerry. I'm going to get my license before you." So we'll see who wins. And then, as you saw in the video, I went by and made my donation and got this guy right here. So looking forward to that. And, of course, down here in Picayune, Mississippi, I'm nowhere near any D-Star repeaters. But working in New Orleans, I am. So there you go, the 80 AD. We're going to look forward to that. And I think at Huntsville, I'm going to pick up a DVAP, the DV access point for the computer. I already have a DV dongle. But I'm not about to push the press to talk button because I know what happened to Gordon the first couple of shows, and I'm not going to nuke my connection. So, no, that's not going to happen. But that was all I wanted. I didn't get a chance to sit down. There's one area up in the bleachers that my friends always sit down. We refer to it as the perch. I didn't get to the perch one time because I was busy with Newsline and Ham Nation, and I didn't get to see the whole Ham Fest either for the first time ever. But I'll trade that for the fun and excitement of the Ham Nation crowd and the fans. That was a lot of fun. So that's the extent of my purchasing this year at Dayton.
I never get to go away from the booth. It's always so much fun talking to everybody, and as you guys saw, it's usually a couple of hundred people in front of me the whole time, and that's okay, but I don't get to really go out and see Dayton. But I did do one thing. By the way, I'm very surprised that all you video guys didn't see my scooter. A few years ago, our office manager bought me an electric scooter, and I can get around places really fast, especially on setup day, and that's how I do it if I go out at all. But I didn't get out at all this year. But I did do one thing. I did go out for about 5 minutes to pick up something, and I had this all planned. I've been talking to several dealers, and I found one at R&L in Hamilton, Ohio, and Roger found this IC730. This radio is 35, maybe older, 35 years old. And why I wanted it is that I wanted to show a lot of our audience how you can get on the air and you don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. I spent $150. And one thing, you know, a lot of dealers, almost all of them, HRO and AES, Universal, Ally, all of the internet guys, they have used equipment. And you should call them and find out what they have, because they have like a 30, some of them have a 90-day warranty on them. And so what you can do there is get on the air, give them your budget and tell them what you want. But to get an HF radio, here we are, $150. So what I did, I set it up here the other day, and I plugged it in. I hadn't plugged it in yet. Now the 730, as we'll see, is a very special radio. All of those early ICOMs, 720, 730, 740, have a 0 in the end, 720, 30, 40. They don't have a mic preamp in them. The microphone first stage preamp is built in the microphone. Kind of a stupid idea, but that's what they did. Then they were convinced that, we got to do something about this, and they brought out the 735, which is basically this radio with the mic preamp inside. Thank you very much. Although it's low in gain, as most of them were until the Pro Series, but at least we got something to work with. Well, here's a little video that I did, and it was kind of a real treat for me because in tuning around, I heard the Indianapolis Speedway's special event station, and you'll hear those guys. I work them. And then at the end is kind of a huge surprise. Now, you understand that I have a dipole out here, a very simple dipole made up of 2 pieces of wire. And I did this just for this particular thing. I wanted to show everybody this is simple to get on the air, and it's also very inexpensive. So if you could roll that little piece of video, it's not very long, but we'll go through the 730 and show you some of the attributes of it. It's a big radio, got power, and of course the normal things that you see on the radios. And all of these things are very much needed. We've got a little memory in it. That's the microphone gain, RF power. You can go from 1 watt to 100. And then that's the AF gain. And behind it's the RF preamp. And we're going to talk more about that on future shows. Then the band switch, it goes from 75 up to 10 meters.
Radio Club, W9IMS, and we're a special event station for the Indianapolis 500. Have a great weekend, and thanks for the contact. This is W9IMS with B9 India. Mike.
And here's the back panel, standard back panel that all the radios have of this vintage, and the accessory socket, so we can have.
Golf for Romeo India Quiver. You're at 72S9 with me, Bob. And the audio sounds good. The combo it's sharp, it's rounded, but you're sounding good there, Bob. Go ahead.
Thanks for talking to us on a 730 ICOM. It's about 35 years old. I appreciate it very much. This is K9EID, back to G4RIQ.
Right, okay, Bob. We saw G4RIQ. 73, pleasant weekend. Bye-bye.
There you go. $150. Look at all the fun I had, and I got it going. I've had it on the air yesterday and today, having more fun than a barrel of monkeys. And George, you know how that goes, don't you? I got all this other stuff, but isn't it just fun to find something like that and have so much fun? I enjoy that so much. What do you think?
That's great, Bob, and I do too. You know, not every year, but quite often at the Hamfest, I'll take an old radio I have and sell it and more or less exchange it for another old radio. They're a lot of fun to play with, a lot simpler than the new ones, and they still perform pretty well. You know, the newer radios may have better noise reduction and such, but those can be a whole lot of fun. And really, if you're just getting started, that's what I would get, a basic radio like that, to kind of get used to how to operate, and then jump to something with all the bells and whistles on it. And I did bring back one other thing from Dayton I forgot about, Bob.
What's that?
I got some of these little solar panels. Some guys came by the Hamvention booth there and told me about PowerFilm selling some real neat solar panels over there, and asked me if I wanted some. They said they would go get me some. So I didn't think any more about it, and later during the show, they came by and they brought me a stack of these. They're real thin little solar panels made by PowerFilm, and they brought me a handful of reject ones, those that didn't quite make the mark, and I've been testing them out and playing with them a little bit. I'm going to do something with these. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but you know, they're too good to let go to waste, so we'll have to see what I can use these for in the future.
We all know that your soldering iron will help you, and you'll figure out something to do. That's for sure. Well, I just wanted to bring you that small, quick piece to show you it's possible to just not spend a lot of money. And again, I can tell you that most of these dealers have good used equipment and have warranties, so don't be afraid. I mean, you can go out and buy things on the internet and stuff, but support your local dealer. Get to know a dealer that you can deal with, and you get to know, because they can be of a lot of help down the line. And so you want to make sure that you have all of that available, that camaraderie with your dealer, and therefore when you need something that they can help you with, They'll be there for you. So I always like to support the dealers and all of them. Move it around because they all have great prices, and they also some of them have different lines. So check them out. I know the last time I was at Universal in the Columbus area, man, they had a lot of used gear, and it was all pristine, beautiful, because they go through it and make it work really well, clean it up. So that's helpful. And, of course, Roger, he's just got tons of it. AES has a nice counter, HRO. So check it out, because that's where you want to find your radio. And as we've said before, get on one band. Don't try to cover every band. I like to do the first band of 40 meters because it's open pretty much all the time, and you can find some nice people there. We talked about that last week. So, George, I think you kind of dovetail right into this story because aren't you doing something here with how to operate an HF receiver? Let's see what you got going, George. Go ahead and make that old solder and that old smoke happen in Mississippi.
Well, just as a coincidence, it did work out, Bob. We hadn't planned that, but I was just thinking it about the same time you did. You know, Gordon talked about tuning on HF radios a week or two back, and I kind of expanded on that and show a few more of the features on there and a few different models. So, Alex, if you can roll the video there, we'll take a look at it. Let's talk a little bit about how to receive a signal on an HF radio. After you've selected a band, choose a mode. For voice, this would usually be AM, FM, or single sideband. An AM signal has a carrier on the center frequency at a constant amplitude. With modulation, sidebands are generated on both sides of the carrier. The bandwidth of the sidebands varies with the frequency of the modulation, and the amplitude of the sidebands varies with the amplitude of the modulation. To receive an AM signal, tune the big VFO knob for the strongest signal on the S meter. Or you could also change the mode to lower sideband or upper sideband and zero beat the signal. You'll hear the AM carrier as a tone. Just tune the VFO for the lowest tone. You can usually null the tone out altogether. When this occurs, you're tuned exactly to the carrier frequency. Now listen to the signal in the mode you chose, or change the mode to AM. You can easily listen to AM signals in single sideband mode, but you can't listen to single sideband signals in AM mode. A single sideband signal has no carrier. It only has one sideband that's either above or below where the carrier would normally be. A lower sideband signal would be below the carrier, while an upper sideband signal would be above the carrier. Since there's only one sideband, a single sideband signal uses half the bandwidth of an AM signal. This also means that all the power is concentrated in that one sideband instead of being used by the carrier and the other sideband. Because of this, single sideband signals will usually travel further than AM signals of the same power. However, AM signals may have better fidelity than single sideband. CW signals have a carrier like AM, but no sidebands. The carrier is simply turned on and off to make dots and dashes. Since the carrier alone has a much narrower bandwidth than a signal with modulation, which includes sidebands, all the power is concentrated in the carrier. A CW signal travels further than most other modes. You can hear a CW signal in many different modes. Because a single sideband signal has no carrier, tuning is somewhat different. When you're not tuned exactly on the correct RF frequency, a received voice will have a higher or lower frequency pitch than the transmitted voice. Tuning is done by moving back and forth over the signal until its pitch sounds natural. Many older transceivers use separate oscillators for transmit and receive. When either oscillator drifts, the station will not be transmitting and receiving on exactly the same frequency. Now, when you're listening to a station and you know that they're transmitting off frequency, you can use the RIT control to move your receive frequency while not affecting your transmit frequency. We'll simulate this by tuning our receiver slightly off frequency and using the RIT control to correct the error.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm going to miss that. Is it going to be a white Christmas tomorrow? Good, so you'll be able to fly?
The RF gain control adjusts the amount of signal that feeds the receiver. At first, you might think you should run the RF gain control wide open so you could hear weak signals. However, this will also increase any noise present on the frequency. It's usually best to decrease the amount of RF gain and increase the volume where you can still hear the desired signal, but not so much of the noise.
Now, which one is that?
In addition to the RF gain control, there's another circuit in the radio that controls the received signal level. Automatic gain control, or AGC, attempts to adjust the level of all received signals to a more constant level. This allows us to hear a weak signal and a strong signal on the same frequency without needing to manually adjust the RF gain control for each. Some radios have a single fixed AGC speed, while others have a couple of selectable speeds, and yet others a continuously variable AGC speed control. Running the AGC speed fast can help bring in signals when lightning strikes or other noise are present. However, listening to a fast AGC can be uncomfortable, unpleasant, or even tiring over longer periods of time. Slowing the AGC speed can often make a decent signal much easier to listen to. Occasionally, another station is tuning up or transmitting a carrier on a frequency near the one you're listening to. When this happens, you'll hear an annoying tone. Using a notch filter, you can null out the offending tone. Some rigs have a manual notch filter, which you tune to eliminate the whistle yourself. Others have an automatic notch filter that attempts to automatically null out the interfering signal. Some receivers offer both. Most new rigs also include a noise blanker to help reduce certain types of impulse noise. Many newer receivers include digital signal processing, or DSP, to help further reduce unwanted noise. These filters can make noisy signals much easier to listen to and sometimes can make the difference in being able to copy and understand a weak signal. Noise reduction is not appropriate in all cases. When trying to copy a digital signal, or one that consists of tones, some noise reduction circuits will not only eliminate the noise, they'll negatively affect the desired signal as well. There's one final type of noise we want to discuss, and this is interference from signals on adjacent frequencies. The chatter we're hearing is from a station transmitting just below the frequency we're trying to receive. Many rigs include a shift knob that allows you to move the receiver passband by a slight amount, thus placing the offending signal just outside the range we're listening to. Some receivers call this passband tuning. This IC7200 from ICOM has twin passband tuning, which allows us to adjust the passband from both sides of the signal. There is one more type of passband filtering, and this uses fixed bandwidth filters. This old Kenwood TS430S has optional crystal filters that allow you to select between wide and narrow bandwidths. Some newer rigs still offer crystal filters. I hope some of you have learned a little bit about receiving HF signals today. Different receiver models have different features, but don't let that scare you. The best way to learn is by listening and experimenting to find the best settings for the particular reception conditions at the time. And, you still learn a little bit all along about what works best with what type of noise. I'm going to be experimenting with some more noise reduction here very soon that we hope Leo will be able to take advantage of. But there you go. That's how to tune an HF receiver and what some of those fancy names on the knobs mean.
Fancy names on the knobs. I love it. Well, it was great, and we'll be doing more and more of that because that's the kind of things we hear from all of you that we need to be doing. It's interesting thing also that we need to talk about when we kind of visit Dayton. We want to give an update on Tom, KB4HQA. He, as we told you last week, he was leaving downtown Dayton, and somebody T-boned him, and what was it all? He broke his neck and arm in 2 places. George, what exactly happened to him? I didn't get all of the report, but he's in bad shape. How do you hear that lately from Tom?
Well, the last time I talked to him was a couple of nights ago, and he's out of the hospital. He was back home and looked much better than I expected. I think he broke 2 places in his left arm, possibly his hand, I'm not sure. And I believe he fractured his C3 vertebrae, so he's got the collar on, I believe, for 9 weeks. But he was on the Google Hangout the other night. You and I both caught him on there, and he did look mighty good for what he's gone through, didn't he, Bob?
Yeah, we got some wonderful guys on that Hangout. I looked at him, I'm going, wow, that's Tom. I'm going, no, it can't be Tom. He's in the hospital with a broken neck. I'm going, hello? And why, he was just great. So, Tom, God bless you, man. I'm telling you, what a strong guy. And we'll all be praying for you to get healthy quicker because you deserve it. I hope you get all your gear back, too. That was the other thing. So, what do you got for a contest, George? You got something cooking for the contest?
Well, I do, as always. Tonight, we're going to give away another one of these MFJ 24-hour clocks that you really need if you're a ham, particularly if you're working on HF. You can set this to Universal Coordinated Time and know what time it is anywhere in the world. And our question for this week was, what is field day? Pretty simple question, but some people don't know what it is. But Ira Lau knew what it is. W6ICL said field day is an annual amateur radio exercise widely sponsored by the IARU and amateur radio clubs, encouraging emergency communications preparedness among amateur radio operators. And it's a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to operating field day ourselves on the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd. I think it actually starts on Saturday, the 23rd. So for next week, we're going to give away another one of these great books by Jerry Buston, KR7KZ, Constructing HF Wire Antennas. And our question will be, what does the RIT control do on an HF receiver? And if you think you know the answer to that, why not email me at hamnationcontest@gmail.com, and we'll have another lucky winner next week.
I almost spoiled that for you. I had that as part of my video of the 730, and I took it out at last because I showed what the RIT does and all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad I did that, because now I would have spoiled your contest. That wouldn't have been nice of me.
Well, so actually, I spoiled it myself. I told what the RIT was in the video. So if you weren't paying attention, you need to go download the episode and check it out.
You guys need to pay attention to George. I'm telling you. And hey, George, if they want to get into the contest, how long do you keep that open for the guys on the replay? Like, can you shed some light on that? I've had a few guys ask me about that. How late do you keep all of that going on the contest?
It goes for approximately a week. The answers will start coming in as soon as I read the question. I've noticed that. But I don't choose a winner until the day of the show, which is each Tuesday. And I usually choose it right afternoon, so I've got time to get things together for the show. And so you have, about 7 days there that you can enter. Occasionally someone will enter last week's contest, and I'm sorry, but, we give away something each week. So I try to wait as long as I can before we choose a winner, and we just pick out all the correct answers. Take that number and enter it into the random number generator at random.org, and it tells us who the winner is.
There you go. That's great. Well, before we bring Cheryl in, you were talking about the wire antennas, and as part of this massive little project I got going here, and we're getting the video together. It's going to eventually get here, but I just got all this yesterday. Hey, George, do you know what this is? Do you know what this is right here?
I would call that an elbow, but it doesn't radiate very well, does it?
No, but what do you know what this is? This is a good one. Oh, the chat room is going to go nuts. Do you know what this is?
Is that a wax seal for a toilet? I don't know.
I do.
It is. Hey, Cheryl, are you with us?
I am. Hi, Bob. How are you?
I'm good. Do you know what that is? Don't you, Cheryl? You know what that is?
It looks like something that you put before you put your actual toilet down, isn't it? It's a PVC version of a metal one, isn't it?
It's the most wonderful thing to bring coax into a house that I know. Here's what there's going to be 12 coaxes coming into this room when I count, not just coax, but rotor leads and relay leads. Here's what you do. You take this elbow, George, and you put it on this. You cut a hole in your floor, and what a cool way to bring all of your coax or any kind of leads into the house very nicely. And Sarah thought it's great because I just don't have these, a hole in the floor and this thing coming up. What do you do? So this is really cool. And then, of course, it covers all this. And then what a neat thing. I saw that at Lowe's, and I was looking, what am I going to do with all these coaxes? That's what I did. And I have another one on the outside of the house, only it's, of course, just the elbow and some straight pipe. It comes out of the foundation and goes down into the ground, and another one underneath, and then we're out in 500 feet later. They end up out in the middle. But anyway, I just thought I'd show everybody that's some of the things we do as hams. We have to do it, but we got to do it really cool. So there you go. Cheryl, it's nice to see you. We've been missing you because of all the things going on, but I know you and Dave are doing well. What's going on in the chat room tonight? I bet you got a lot of things happening.
I got a couple things going here, but I thought that was really a neat flange mount idea you used to get your wires into the floor. Very nice. We have someone in the chat room, KE7TDY. His inquiry is, Cheryl, what nation has the longest ham radio license grant time period? A few mentioned life licenses in the UK. Do you have any information on the longest ham radio license grant time period?
No.
I'm not
clueless here. I know what. We're 10 years, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
So,
well,
yeah.
Good one to research for later. But now, since I got you too here, Don, nice job earlier, by the way. Franklin asked, can we ask Don what will be the URL from Hamtown? What will that be? And is it up and running yet?
Yeah, they're in the beta version right now. I signed on to it today and requested access. They have to grant you access because it's by invitation only kind of a thing. It's hamtown.com. That's you can see it right here on the hat. HAMTOWN.com. Hamtown.com. And I think it's going to be like almost like a classified ads kind of a thing. There you go. There it is right there. You request the invitation, and then they'll and I haven't checked my email to see if they've approved me yet, but God, why would you not, right?
Of course. Very good. Thank you for that answer. And we also have N2ICV Mike. He wants to know why the show was moved. If you could please expound on that, Bob, for us.
Guess what? I wasn't sure that it absolutely is yet, so stand by.
It's possible. Okay. All right. And looks like Julian is moved to 14,263 for the 20-meter net is what's been written in the chat room. And that pretty much sums up everything that I've got so far, because there was that other same question you asked, Bob. It was funny. It was, what is the latest I can send in an answer for any of the contests? So you got that one up on me, but that was on my list too. But that's all I have for now from Northeastern Illinois. We have wonderful weather and nice to be here. Nice to see everybody in the chat room, and please come back and see us. We enjoy having you.
3850, right?
3850 after Ham Nation. Yes. 75 meters.
Oh. Yep. I noticed a while ago somebody was asking about the USBQ. It ended up being the USBQ, and it's doing well and it works well. So anybody wanted to know what that was, there you go. So, hey, George, you know what we need to find out? We need to go through all these things. What's a VFO and a BFO and RIT, all these crazy things on the front of these transceivers. That'd be a good one for Smoke and Solder a couple. What do you think?
That sounds like a good idea. We could have a regular acronym segment. So, yeah, I'll look into that, Bob.
That would be the RAS, the regular acronym segment. the R. It's
regular. Yeah.
Brass.
Yeah. And what does G period, O period, R period, D period, O period? What's that mean? That means fun, and we miss him. Next
Smoking
week,
pickles.
and I will guarantee you he'll be in short pants, and he will bring back lots of fun from Hawaii. we really wish Julian and Hannah all the great wishes, because they're getting married in just a couple of. There they on the rocks. Got it.
Congratulations! That's so great.
Isn't that super? So we'll look forward to them back here next week, and who knows what all will happen, but we'll be. Oh, I know what else is going to happen, Cheryl. I got a note just right before the show, and it was too late. But Amanda's going to be back. They made the move, and she'll be back. So you'll have your sidekick with you next week. Amanda's coming back, so she's all moved. So be watching there, Cheryl.
Hi, Amanda. I hope everything's well at the new place. Congratulations on that too. Look forward to having you back.
Hey, I wonder if they got one of these, George. I wonder if when they built their new place, I wonder if they got one of these guys. And we'll have to find out. What do you think, George?
I think so, Bob. I'm going to have to get me one of those for the new ham shack I'm about to build here.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for watching. Pass the word about Ham Nation. It's a great effort of many, many people. And we especially thank Leo for the time, bandwidth, and all of you people in Petaluma, you talented people that push the buttons and make this happen. Alex and Lynn and everybody there. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week, and maybe we'll have it all figured out if we're going to move or if we're going to be here or where we're going to be. But I guarantee you we'll be on the TWiT network, and we'll make it fun. So I'm headed off to 20 and go visit Bill, K5LN. He's on 40 meters at 7268. He just found an HW12, George, at a ham fest, so he might be doing a little competition with smoke and solder, and hope no explosions. But anyway, thanks, Bill, for all you do. And then Mike is going to be around too, I guess, up on 68. So we'll look for a WT6H. Thanks for all of your help, Michael. See you all later. And we'll be on the band this week a lot. So give us a buzz and keep us in mind when it comes to fun. This is where it's at, right here. 7-3, everybody. This is K9EID. Ham Nation is off to 20 meters.